Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Flavors of Fusion, Trinbago style, Chinese style cooking. My name is Michelle Phipps-Evans and I'm the proud chef of Vicky's Trinidad and Tobago Kitchen. I am here to introduce you to how we do some Trinidad and Tobago Chinese style flavors. So today I'm going to show you how to make Trinbago style fried wontons, and I'm using chicken to make the wontons. I'm also going to teach you how to make Trinbago style fried rice, and I'm doing the plain vegetarian rice, and of course Trinbago style fried chicken. And I'm here to have fun and teach you how to make these dishes. So first we're going to start off with the wontons, with the fried wontons. And I'm going to wash the chicken with some lemon and some water. I'll be right back. So we're back. We moved things around a little bit so I can do the preparation for the wontons. So we just finished wash the chicken. And so now we have, and it's always best to use chicken breast. It's a little bit easier to use. So one good thing about when you're making Trinbago Chinese food is that we always start off with garlic and ginger. That's what gives it its flavor. So we put a little bit of garlic in here, a little bit of ginger. And then you have the next set of fun. You take it and you really start chopping it up. So, you kind of want it all in there together, and then you just chop everything up. It's actually going to be kind of loud. So, sort of mix it all up just to get that good flavor in there. And sometimes I do put in some chives and cilantro to give it that extra little bit of flavor. So one good thing where I learned how to do Trinidad and Tobago Chinese style cooking is, my grandfather came from China. He came to Trinidad in the 40s following his older brother, who had a supermarket, Wing Hing. And my grandfather, who was Wilfred Jean, he came to Trinidad. And it's funny with his name, Jean doesn't sound Chinese, but when he changed his name from the characters, which was Ying, he became Jean. I don't know how he became Jean. Jean sounds real English to me. But my mom's name is Lanfong Victoria Jean, and then Phipps, my dad's last name. But that's where I learned how to cook Trinidad Chinese food, from my mother first, and then my grandfather taught us how to cook the food as well. Because eventually he ended up with a restaurant. Like most Trinidad and Tobago Chinese, they come and they do restaurants, etc. And so as you see, we can chop it up nice and small. You don't need a whole lot of chicken when it comes to doing wontons, fried wontons. And these make great appetizers for your friends and your family, or you can eat it with the fried rice and the chicken that I'm going to show you as well. So I'm going to put this in a bowl, so where you could show how we mix it up here. So then we use 5-spice powder. You always do chicken with 5-spice powder. I prefer to use Chief brand products, which come from Trinidad and Tobago itself. It's so important what products you use, because you will have a different flavor if you use something different. So you mix it up nicely, and it just kind of marinates, and you can smell it as well. Then you add a little bit of oyster sauce to get that delicious flavor in. And then I also do a little bit of this ginger garlic pimento. It doesn't have to be spicy at all, but just to give that ginger and garlic flavor in there. And then of course a little bit of, if you prefer salt you can, but I do not cook with salt. I prefer to use Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Just put a little bit in there. So, and for a lot of people, we always like to put meat in the refrigerator so it would marinate a little bit. Because this is so chopped up, the flavors start to marinate almost right away. So when you start doing the food, it'll be actually tasty and delicious. So, and now we're going to do the wontons. Here I have some wontons. It's a vegetarian style wonton. You can find this at any supermarket. Will be good. So, and now we're going to fold the wontons. I'm going to show you how to fold the wontons. So I need a little dish of water that will help us fold it. So I'm going to do about 3. So you put a little bit of the chicken on the side. And I like to add a little bit of either cilantro or a little bit of chive to give that little extra flavor. And then you fold this up like this. And then dab some water in the front and the back. And then fold it. So this is the specifically Trinidad and Tobago way that we actually fold ours. It's a little bit different than what you see here in the US, but this is how my grandfather taught us. And he was Cantonese. He passed away in '99, but you know, every other Sunday, on Sundays and on New Year's, we used to visit the family, and you know, and he taught us a lot. You know, my sister and I were able to do all the traditional Chinese activities. I mean, we got the red envelopes with money in it during Chinese New Year. And so we were always learning. I was always learning. He taught us how to cook traditional Chinese food, how to eat traditional Chinese food, how to eat it, the way how the families do it. So, you know, but it was really fun for us. The way how I ended up learning how to do Trinidad Chinese food is my grandfather came to Trinidad in the 30s and 40s and met my grandmother, who was a young girl who was working at his supermarket. And they fell in love and they had 2 kids, my mom and her other brother. And my mom is Victoria Lanfong Nimoy Jean Phipps, and her brother was Wilford Cockloy Jap Jean. And so it was really interesting growing up having this particular part of the culture in my family, because I thought everybody had it, you know? So when my mom was doing Chinese style fried chicken, I thought everybody was doing it. So it was kind of fun for us when we realized that, oh, okay, it's a little bit different. So, but this is how we do the wontons. So we'll be right back, because I'm going to get the oil together and we're going to fry this up. Welcome back. So we've moved over here to the stove because I'm going to fry the wontons. So usually sometimes you can actually steam or boil the wontons or put it in soup, but we prefer the frying to fry it. Tastes a little bit better when it's fried. So I like to use olive oil to do a lot of my cooking. So just put a little bit at the bottom, and you know, and it'll heat up a little bit because you want it to be hot, so that as soon as it hits inside there, they should start frying right away. And I usually put them upside down this way, which is where the majority of the meat is. And so you just want it to be down this way so that the meat could fry first, because you don't want semi-raw wontons at all. You don't want your friends and family to bite into it and it's not completely cooked right through. And so we always want to make sure. You know, as you've seen, a lot of the wontons that you might, fried wontons that you see here in the States look a little bit different. Our food has a Cantonese influence. So my grandfather was a Canton. The Cantons are farmers. So he came over from China pretty poor. And so he came to Trinidad to find his fortune, so to speak. Let's see. All right, there we go. So you see it starts frying right away. And that's exactly how you want the wontons to be. Depending on the size of your pan, you could put as many as you like, but just be really cautious and careful, because you don't want it to burn at all. So you could flip them over because they will get nice and brown. You want them golden brown. So I didn't put as much oil in here, but you can put more oil, and you want them more along the lines of this color to be a little bit more golden brown. So generally, I teach people how to cook Trinidad and Tobago food as well. I have a business where I teach people how to cook. This business started off as an auction idea for my daughter's school. A friend had asked me to come up with some ideas so that to make money for the school. And I ended up doing this, inviting families to my home, and then each one of them learned how to cook. First we fed them so they could get the baseline, and then they were able to learn how to cook the main dish. What I'm doing here is I'm frying them front and back just to make sure that they're golden brown. And you'll want to have enough oil. That's the thing. You don't want to put too little bit of oil. You need to have enough oil to be able to give it an opportunity, because fried wonton will suck the oils in. And so which is why then you put it on a paper towel so that it will sort of dry it up a little bit, so you're not eating oily food. A lot of the Trini Chinese food actually uses the frying method. We fry a lot of different foods. You know, when we're doing chow mein or lau mein, definitely fried rice. But that's why you have to be careful of the oil that you use, just to make sure that, you know, it's not adding anything unhealthy to what you're trying to eat. So another fun part though that I will show you all to make is the sauce that goes with it. So we have an oyster-based sauce. You know, it's a simple sauce with oyster sauce, ketchup, mustard, sesame oil, and of course hot sauce. And it's pulled together by soy sauce. So that you could even use on chicken. I've had opportunities to put it on chicken without just having it on the sauce. So when you finish with your wontons, you can actually have that as well to eat. That is exactly how it's supposed to be, where it just starts frying right away and it gets that nice golden brown. And definitely, from what I'm seeing too, is the different skins make a difference. So I usually buy my skins from the Caribbean markets, and those skins, or I go to Chinatown and I get their skins as well, their wonton skins. One day I will teach you all how to make the skins, because there's a way you can make the fresh skins. And that makes a whole difference when it comes to making Trinidad Chinese food, Trinbago Chinese food. As you could see too, making the fried wontons was quick. We really didn't take a long time to really kind of get it together and make it your own. And you know, making sure that it's cooked right through, making sure that everything has a nice golden flavor, a golden brown look. You don't want it to burn. That's the thing. You really don't want it to burn. See, so it's like pretty and golden brown. We want to make sure that the oil is out of it generally. And then you fry on this side. Make sure it's cooked right through. And voila, that looks really pretty, right? It's a nice golden brown color. That's the ideal. That's how you want it to look. I think the hardest part is the folding. That's the one that really catches people off guard, is the folding. So it's a little bit different from others. So yeah, that looks cooked, right? Just as an FYI, you don't need to use a wok. You could use any pan that you have at home that will work, that you put enough oil. You could use a small pan. I think the smaller pans are better, so that you can actually have more oil rather than a wok, because a wok will take a lot of oil, as we know. I'm making sure that this paper towel keeps it nice and get the oil off. And there you have it. Trinbago style fried wontons. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So now we have our fried wonton. So I set it up nicely here so you can take a look at it. And this is how you can actually serve it to guests or friends, or however you like to. And so now I'm going to get quickly into the sauce. This is our secret family sauce, and I'm showing you here how to do it. So you just need a few simple ingredients to make the sauce for it. So you need a little bit of ketchup. You need some mustard. I prefer regular yellow mustard instead of spicy brown, but they have spicy brown here. You use a little bit of oyster sauce, definitely some sesame oil. I omitted the sesame oil when I was making the wontons, but this is a key part as well when you're making fried wontons. You put it when you season the chicken. Not too much, just to give it a nice little hint, a nice little flavor. And of course you tie all of it together with the soy sauce. And I generally like to use hot pepper in mine as well. So sticking with the Trinidad and Tobago theme, we like to use Trinidad and Tobago pepper sauce. So you have the Matook's hot sauce, and those are really delicious and tasty, the scorpion pepper, etc. And I have those right here that I'm going to put some in as well. So really fast, you don't have to do too much of the sauce, but you can do some ketchup. You don't want to do too much of it. And some mustard, because we only have 6 wontons there, you don't want too much. Generally, it's better to use a regular yellow mustard rather than the spicy brown one, but not too much, just a nice dip of pepper of that there. So moving these out the way. There you go. Use a little bit of oyster sauce to get that delicious flavor. And I prefer Lee Kikum version, but you could use any one, it's fine. Also, I use like this Grace brand product, which is ginger, garlic, and pimento. Just have a little extra of that Chinese flavor. Because I said at the beginning, when you put ginger and garlic together, you get that Chinese flavor. It's a little known secret a lot of people don't even realize. So mix it up a little bit. Put a little bit of pepper in it, the little hot sauce to give it a little oomph. It's really peppery. We add the soy sauce to give it its darker look. It should have a darker look to it. And we add the sesame oil, which I had forgotten initially. And of course some more pepper, because it's not hot enough. But as the Trinbago style cooking is, we love the hot sauce in our food. So, just to give it that extra flavor. And you can make it whatever color you like. I mean, it could be redder, following the tones of the ketchup, or it can be darker if you want more, and then you could add a little bit more soy sauce to make it a little bit darker. It's still not hot enough for me, but all right, fine. I like it with, really hot and spicy, but, and I like to add a little bit of the ginger and garlic. Some people ask me if you could put the fresh ginger or garlic in here. No, it's too much. It'll be a little bit uncomfortable to eat because you want it nice and smooth. This is something that should be smooth, so when your guests gather around and they could eat it. So you have it there. There you go. And voila! You have Trinbago Chinese style fried wontons. Welcome back. I've already prepared the chicken. I washed it by the sink with lemon. So, just so that your chicken takes some of the freshness out. But for now, I'm going to season the chicken that we're going to be frying, and then we're going to marinate it for a little bit. Here we have like fresh chicken. I prefer to use legs just because it's easier to fry and a little bit better. But for right now, we have thighs, and I'm going to use these thighs. So I'm just doing 2 here. So first you take your garlic and your ginger, mix them nicely together, because remember, this makes Trinidad and Tobago Chinese food. And you actually rub it on it, and you get that, you sort of get it in there. Usually when we're doing Chinese style chicken, people do it whole. They don't use the pieces. So we do it whole and then we cut it. For the purposes of this, I'm going to just do the pieces. Sort of get it in there. Both ginger and garlic, get those good flavors in to marinate a little bit. Yeah, because I love making the fried chicken. It has a nice flavor, a different flavor. And then we have a sauce for it too, a hoisin based sauce, which is a little bit sweeter than the fried wonton sauce, but the hoisin sauce is really nice for it. And of course, I don't want to contaminate, so I need to wash my hands. I will be right back. So we're back. We had just put in the garlic and the ginger, and we mixed it up and marinated it. Now we're going to put in the 5-spice powder. Quite as it's kept, 5-spice powder is like the most basic when you're doing Trinidad and Tobago Chinese cooking. And I think honestly, any Chinese or any other Asian style food, we use 5-spice. You know, and you sort of get that mixed in there as well. You want to get that nice garlic and that nice ginger scent. And you can actually smell it already. It smells so good. I like adding in the Grace product, the ginger pimento flavor, just to give it that nice little flavor in there. And one thing with our food too is you want it to be flavorful and you want it to be tasty. So, you know, we kind of get it mixed up in there, which is why I'm doing this now, so that it'll marinate a little bit. Ideally, you'll want to put it overnight, ideally. But sometimes, you know, you may not have the opportunity to do that, so you could put it to marinate for about an hour. And of course, my favorite Creole seasoning. You may have any seasoning you like. Some people like different types, but this is my seasoning of choice. I love that flavoring. I know I have the spoon, but I still want to put my hands in it. I like playing in it. And then of course you want to put a little bit of oyster sauce as well to get that flavor. I also learned to put in some hoisin sauce, but I think I'll just go ahead and put in the oyster sauce and just have it like marinate like that. This is when you really need your fingers, just to kind of get it all mixed up in there and really nice. And as I said, you can never have too much fresh garlic and enough fresh ginger, and you have those in there to make it like really nice. At this point, you don't put in yet the sesame oil. I had learned a long time ago that sesame oil should be a last dish, a last condiment to add in fried rice or anything else, because you don't want to add the oil in there when you're doing fried chicken or anything else. You can add it after. That's all you need if you're going to season chicken for Trinbago fried chicken, Chinese style fried chicken. I'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to the show. Right now we're going to do some Trinbago style fried rice, just to get it done quickly. So right now our pot is a little bit hot, and so we're going to add a little bit of oil. Remember what I said, that Trinbago style Chinese food always starts with an onion and garlic. So you always want to ensure that you have that. So we have the garlic here and then ginger. And we're going to add these two. So ginger and garlic makes the flavor into that Chinese flavor. We're going to burn these two and get them into that nice dark color. And let them sort of burn a little bit. And a good thing with the Chinese style fried rice is you can eat it with traditional other Trinidadian and Tobagonian food. So you might eat it with stewed chicken, curry chicken, other types of regular fried chicken. But for right now, we're going to do ours with fried chicken, the Chinese style fried chicken, and as part of it, and the wontons, of course. Additionally, you can add chow mein or lau mein to the dish to complete it. If you want a vegetable, you can actually do the chow mein as well, and it adds a nice garnish. And you could do this lunch for a Sunday lunch, real quick, real easy, delicious, tasty. You could share with your friends, share with your family. So we're just making sure it gets nice and brown. You want it dark, so letting it get marinated here. It makes a huge difference. You don't want it to be too light because you lose some of the flavor. So this in itself takes a little minute. But also, as you'll notice, I also have the rice already boiled. You don't want to put raw rice inside of your fried rice. So if you have time, you just go ahead and boil it before. I like using long grain rice. It's a little bit better, so that it mixes up a little bit better. The sticky rice tends to make the consistency a little bit different. And use the whole ginger and garlic. Don't use the pieces because it's hard to take it out. Because one thing you have to do is to take it out. You take the ginger and garlic out after, and you could smell the aroma. You can actually smell it. So, and again, I like using olive oil, but you can use any type of oil you prefer. If you like canola oil or vegetable oils, you can use any type of oil. But I just prefer olive oil. And there's another thing too that I wanted to say about making Trinbago style food, especially the Chinese food, is we always try to put love in the food. We always say that we want to put some love in the food. So, when people eat it with you, they're not just nourished. They could feel your affection, so to speak. And I got that from my grandmother, Adelaide. She always said it doesn't matter what you have or how much you have, you should always share it with others and share it with love. So that's my mother's mother, and she shared that with us as well. And like most Caribbean families, she passed along cooking to us as well. Not the Chinese style cooking, which I got from my mom, but the other style of foods. All right. So this looks like it's burnt, and you wanna, get it as brown as possible. So we turn it down a little bit because you don't want it to steam up too much. And the first thing you put in is the carrots, because carrots, as it is, takes the longest to cook. So in the past, I used to put them in together, but carrots, it takes so long to get soft. So I always give carrots its own little time before. And the smaller you chop it up, the better. You chop it up however you want, however you like. But the smaller it is, it's always better than doing it too big. And then sometimes I throw a little bit of chives in there just to get that additional flavor. Some cilantro. Some little cilantro in there. So they'll all soften up together all nicely. So while you're cooking your carrots, one of the things you want to add is a little bit of oyster sauce. Just to get the flavor while you're cooking. Just to get the Chinese flavor in there. And I put a little bit of Chinese seasoning. Also from cheap brand products. As you notice, that's all I cook with, the products from my country. Just so that you can get more of an authentic flavor, to get the authenticity. You want to make sure your carrots are soft enough. You can take a little taste of it just to make sure that it's soft enough. Yeah, it seems soft enough. Then you add the sweet peppers. Again, if you need to cut them, do them really small so that they'll be easier to cook that way. And then you add in a little bit more of your chives. And then I like adding in a little bit of garlic, fresh garlic and fresh ginger. You can toss in some of your onion. So what you want with fried rice though is you want it to be full with color. Some people like using eggs, but eggs is not something that I like to put in it. But you have other vegetables. You could use hearty vegetables. So you could put some people say broccoli. That's not really my take. So I really like just this color right here of the orange and the green and the white. And that makes it, it adds to it. So, you want to fry it up to make sure. So I add a little hoisin. Hoisin adds a little sweet flavor to it. It adds a little extra flavor. And I have this Trini fried rice seasoning just to add on top. At this point, if you want, you could also add in your Creole seasoning, but I want to wait a little bit just to make sure that it's not too much salt, because that's what we don't want. And also, when you're boiling your rice, do not put salt in it. The fried rice is already going to be salty. Just frying it is already salty, so you'll be putting salt on top of salt. So, and we don't want that at all. So, and another thing, a lot of people will use meats in it. So I've had where I use lapchung. Lapchung is the most traditional that you can add to your fried rice, and you do it in the beginning, even before you put the carrots. You just put the lapchung in there to get soft, or you could use any other type of meat like turkey, deli turkey or deli ham. However you prefer, you can actually add that if you want a meat dish. But if you have friends who are vegetarian or family members who are vegetarian, this is a good option as well. So one thing with Trinidad and Tobago style cooking is we add pepper to our food. But this one, you don't need to add so much pepper to it because you want to keep it sort of, you don't want too much spice it. You don't want to spice it. So got that good Chinese flavor. I wish you all could taste it right now. You get that good flavor. You just keep spinning it and mixing it until it gets soft. You want it to be the consistency that you needed, because you don't want hard carrots when you're biting into fried rice. That is annoying. So I leave it a little bit for it to get softer, because the carrots is the one. The carrots is the one that's problematic. So, okay. You could do it on a Sunday, do it with your children, teach them how to cook, which is the premise behind my my business itself, is that I teach people how to cook. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy showing people some tricks of the trade and some little things that they can do. So if you want, you can add the soy sauce before, or I usually prefer to add it after. So let the onions cook a little bit more too. And that's one thing with Trinbago style food, is it's layered. We tend to season our food in layers. So, you know, you start at different layers to make the food tasty, because at the end of the day, that's what you want to have. Tasty, delicious food that you can share with friends and family. All right. And then you add in the rice. White rice is good. I'll mix it up a little bit. Mix it in. So I usually like to put the rice first to see how much soy sauce I need, because the goal is to make all the rice brown and not to leave anything in there that's too white. You want to cover the white parts of it. So, you know, some people put a whole lot, but I'm just trying to, and you always try to judge how much rice you have for the amount of vegetables that you have. So you don't want to overwhelm the vegetables with too much rice, but at the same time you don't want to like not have enough. Let's see, I could leave it at this and see what it looks like. So we add the soy sauce now. So it depends on the soy sauce too. You can have it looking really, really white, or you can have it a dark brown. So the soy sauce I have is the less sodium soy sauce, so it's a little bit lighter, but you can always add a little bit more to it to make it darker. It's a nice golden brown color. And what you want to do is you want to take a little taste to make sure you have enough salt. And the last thing you're going to put in is the sesame oil. Remember, I told you to don't put the sesame oil while you're cooking so much. You just want to get it to add that additional Chinese flavor at the top. And that should be it. And that's it. That's the Trinbago style fried rice. So we'll plate this and we'll be right back. So we're back and we're going to fry the Chinese style, the Trinbago style fried chicken. So our fried chicken is a little bit different from what you're used to. So it adds a nice little Chinese flavor. So again, I'm going to use the olive oil. Again, you can use any oil you want and get it sort of deep because you're going to deep fry it. You want the oil to cover the entire piece of chicken actually. Might as well finish it up. So you want it to sort of cover it. So as I said before, usually we do it whole, and then when it's whole, we chop it all up and then add the sauce to it, a hoisin-based sauce. But since I'm doing 2 pieces of thigh, I think it'll be it'll be faster and it'll be easier. You know, if you like, you can take a little taste to see if you have enough salt. If not, then add your seasoning salt to it, just to make sure that it's the flavor that you want it. You want the nice Chinese flavor, but not too salty in there. So, all right, that seems a little warm. And now some people like you don't put any flour or anything over this chicken because that's why you need it to be covered by the oil. You need it really covered. So it's not fully covering it, but you can do as many pieces as you like. I usually like using legs, but you can use thighs, you can use breasts. Breasts are good, thighs are good, or the whole chicken. Take the entire thing and put it in deep oil, and then it will just fry up, and you leave it for a while, making sure that your temperature, when you put the thermometer in, it should be 165, because then you know that your chicken is complete and it's finished. So while you leave your chicken here, you can actually do other things like make the sauce, which I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to leave this here. I'm going to cover it, and then we'll just continue on with making the sauce. Welcome back, and we're going to make the sauce for the chicken. And for this one, we're going to actually put it on the stove. We're going to use a little bit of ketchup. You know, this one we sort of measuring out. Like 1 teaspoon of ketchup. Put it on there. About 3 spoons of hoisin. Add this here. And the hoisin sauce is a little bit sweeter than oyster sauce. There. You know, mix it up a little bit. Fresh ginger, fresh garlic, and 4 teaspoons of water. So 1, well, tablespoons, 2, 3, 4. And then I like to add a little bit of this. And if you have it, also hot pepper, because you know hot pepper is always a dish that something we always add. And some people put this garnish on top of the chicken. I usually like to put it on the side, depending on how spicy it is, because not everybody likes spice. So we get it on the side to garnish the chicken. And that's all there is to it. We'll be right back. There, so we're finished frying the chicken. It has a beautiful golden brown look to it. And you could actually smell those flavors, that fusion, that Trinbago fusion of flavors and colors. And what we also do is I also fry some small pieces of the wonton skin. I just slice them, and we have them right here. So now we're going to plate the food. It's up to you if you want to cut your meat and you slice it up if it's a breast, or if you just want to leave it whole. For today, I'm going to leave them whole. And also, you can actually opt to put the sauce on if you want to, but or you can just have the sauce, which we just made, with here separate, and then you just take your piece of chicken and then dip it in. So we're going to add our chicken on right there. And you can add more than one. And definitely, before you even get it on, you also make sure you get rid of the oil, because it was frying, and you use paper towels to sap some of the oil up, because you don't want too much oil on your food. So we can actually put the other one here. They create a nice look. We're gonna have the sauce. We could add the sauce right here. And then I have the little wonton skins that I just cut and fried it together in the oil together with the chicken. And you could do as many as you like. I like to do 3. Just nice odd number to add to it. And you make it as golden brown as possible as you like it. And voila. But also, if you like to add vegetables to your Chinese style cooking, you can actually do Chinese style vegetables so that you'll have chow mein as well with your meals. It'll be a balanced dish. So I'm happy that you joined me today, and I hope that you join me the next time for my Trinbago fusion of Chinese food. Hopefully you join us next time and you enjoy the cooking. Happy cooking!